Super 8s are ongoing, and we have a blockbuster games coming up tomorrow. Starting with this one, England versus West Indies, early morning Indian Standard Time. It's unfair, I must tell you, Rohan, to give such a big game early morning when it comes to Indian fans who love the game of cricket.
Yeah, but the host will be playing at it's a prime time day and night for them, though early morning for us. So I think they're catering to the home teams more requirement than the Indian fans. But other good thing is the Indian teams matches at evening for us. So I think we can enjoy that. But I think this will be a blockbuster game, definitely with the kind of form both these teams are. I think it'll be a classic game.
Absolutely, it will be a classic game, I must tell you. But we are done with this. Let's focus on this game. Let's take a look into how they went on in the group stages, starting with West Indies and England. It is England first. England, the home side. I believe in this game. No result versus Scotland. Should you say it was a no result? Is it a massive scare which England got from that? They are lucky to get 1 point. Australia, they lost that game. Then they belted teams, the other two teams. But what's your take on this one? The Scotland game. What was that? Did you really think Scotland came out hard against them? They could have had a result in that game?
Definitely, I feel Scotland were ahead with the DL score that was, and since maybe England were a bit rusty, I felt overall as a team. So Scotland could have caused that upset, which would have created all the calculations for the England team. But kind of rain saved the day for them. Bit lucky, and then as you said, the last two games against the slightly lesser teams, I think they made hay while the sun shone.
Absolutely, and that's where they progressed in terms of the net run rate. Even Scotland unable to defeat Australia, and that proved out to be costly. Out here, West Indies, they started off the campaign pretty well. Could you say it was a nervy start against Papua New Guinea? It was Roston Chase who got them over the line in the first game. Then you had the second game, Uganda, that was easy peasy for them. New Zealand, what a campaign they had. That was the one, and then it was Afghanistan. What's your take? West Indies 4 out of 4, but can you see them progressing better in the semi-finals? Did they play the best of the cricket?
I think as the games got on, I think they went on becoming better. I felt, as you said, the first game bit of rust was there. Rust and Chase kind of got them over the line there. But as you see, progressively against New Zealand was a very good win for them. That virtually knocked out the Kiwis out, as we saw later on. But against Afghanistan, it was a very powerful performance. The kind of spinners the Afghanistan has in Rashid, Noor, Nicholas Puran kind of exercises muscle power there and showed the kind of match winner he can be when he gets going. I think West Indies have got all the bases covered, especially in terms of their batting, because earlier a couple of games, someone like a Johnson Charles wasn't firing. I think that last game, even he came out well for them. So I think all the small little hits and bits, I think, falling in place for them rightly at the, you can say, the business end of the tournament.
Absolutely, and that's what is matter. They are the hosts, and that could turn out to be costly. But we will see. West Indies known for some brutal power hitting. We will see. But where do they play? Let's take a look into the pitch report. They're playing at a Sir Vivian Richards Stadium in Antigua. You know the stadium very, very well. Rohan, what's your take on this one? 17 matches have been played here. 10 times the team batting first and been victorious. What's your take?
Antigua, if you see Pritham, it's a very open ground. A very windy conditions will be there. The breeze, your one side of it, you can use the breeze to hit your big hits. So breeze can be a factor too there, since it's open ground. Again, there won't be any dew as we have seen generally at the West Indies. So I think good batting pitches, you can expect 160, 175, and kind of big hitters they do have, but we kind of always focus on their batting. But the spinners have done a very wonderful job in Gutkesh Moti as well as Akil Hossain, both gone under the radar. I think the bowling has been the thing that's been actually getting them through the line. So just don't watch out for their big muscle power, but this bowling also is doing a fair good job for the West Indies.
Absolutely, and that could be something, a big threat. The bowling is coming out well, the batting is coming out well. You spoke about some of the players. We're done with the pitch report. Let's take a look into the fixtures coming up for West Indies and England. in the Super 8s. Yeah, the fixtures, they start off England facing West Indies, then South Africa, and then USA. Similarly for the West Indies as well on the other hand, but England first. They have USA, they have South Africa, they have West Indies. The first two ones are big ones. How do you look into this? Do they have the firepower to progress?
They do have the firepower, but the thing is how well everybody can come together as a team for England. I feel throughout this campaign, either one of the department has been clicking and the other not. So still, everybody is not at their peak. I feel maybe at the knockout stages they may raise the game because end of the day they are world champions in this format. So a guy like a Butler or Livingston. Jofra Archer is back. I think that's something news for the English fans. But I think they will have a mixed because uh, West Indies being the host, I think they will start favorites, though England may want to call themselves that. But West Indies, I think, will be slightly ahead. Same, South Africa is a gun team. People do feel they are slightly weaker among this three teams, if you can say, who may get through or not. But South Africa, on their day, if the pitches start to help a little bit, they have the enough firepower to. I'll say run England close. USA, due respect, I think they have come so far. Itself should be a huge victory for them. But again, because they'll be playing at slightly flatter pitches, I feel that's where the gap between the associates and the big teams can be shown, rather than in the New York or Dallas where the pitches were a bit up and down, low scoring. That kind of bought these teams more even Stevens with the bigger teams. But once the pitches get flat out, I think the power difference will be slightly exaggerated. So I think England look good to go through, but it'll be, I'll say, if they beat South Africa, that will be the decider, I feel, Mon.
Absolutely. That should be the decider. We will see that. But on the other hand, West Indies, you spoke about this side as well, but West Indies start with England, end with South Africa. Despite being at home, if you look into it, all three stadiums, all three matches are in different venues, Rohan. So will
Yeah.
that be a test or the players know their stadiums very well?
Travel will be a factor because these matches will come thick and fast. As you can see, just a couple of days rest for the teams here. So I think that can be a factor. Weather will be a factor too. You never know when it will rain or when not in the West Indies. Also, the ground conditions can be a factor if they drain well or not. I think those few reasons can be one thing, but overall, as I see, the fixtures is pretty cramped. Yeah, it's a short and sweet tournament, you can say, but it'll be slightly heavy toll on the players. If you can rotate your squad well, in case you're getting through in the last matches, you may not need your main players to be playing. Also, that's something that teams once qualified can try out.
Absolutely. Teams that qualify can try out. We are done with the fixtures. Let's take a look into the top three players to watch out for. Here are top three players. For England, it's Josh Butler, Jofra Archer, and Moeen Ali. For West Indies, it's Brandon King, Nicholas Pooran, and Andy Russell. You spoke about Jofra Archer coming back to West Indies. He can be a threat. Will he once again be a threat against his West Indian side?
Definitely. I mean, we are seeing him slightly get that speed up there. Uh, you never know what's going to happen there. Pace at in T20 format can travel too, and the West Indies love the pacers. They may struggle against a spinner like a Moeen Ali or Adil Rashid Memin. Historically, against good spinners, the West Indians slightly are a bit leaden-footed. But Archer is a quality bowler, but if I'm a West Indian batter, I'll say bring on the pace. It's more easier for me than a slow, loopy spinner.
Okay, but Andy Russell yet to come out on all guns blazing. Maybe his role in the West Indian side maybe is different. We are seeing Sharf and Rutherford getting more of the blows. So West Indies, how important is the opening duo, Charles and Brandon King? They have to get a good start against the England new ball bowlers.
Very important because once you get the power play going, I think as we saw against Afghan, they got about 90 odd in the power play itself. I think that killed the game there itself. Maybe not against England. If you get 90, it's a different thing against Archer. But if you get that decent start, it kind of gives that belief to the others. Because generally, what I feel the pattern in the West Indian pitches is it will be slightly tough with the new ball. once the ball get a bit softer, say after 12, 13 overs, it's easier to bat on, because there's hardly much with the ball there. So if you have wickets in hand in the first half, back off, you can really accelerate and score big. So if the West Indians can hold the wickets intact in the first half of the game and then score big, I think their game plan will be much should be designed for that, rather than go hard early and lose 2-3. I think they may end up getting slightly below par then.
Absolutely, that could be crucial. You explained this so well. We're done with the top three players for both the teams. Let's take a look into the predicted playing 11. Predicted playing 11 for England, I think it should be an unchanged 11 because they have been brilliant and they should continue this way of cricket. The four pacers are there. You have Adil Rashid, brilliant spinner. I think it's an unchanged 11, Rohan.
Yeah, there's no need to change. I feel it's a winning combination. They are done well. They're gelled as a unit. Someone like Will Jacks is doing pretty well for them ever since even the Tarsi recently got 100 there. I think that kind of got him back into the rhythm that was missing earlier. So I think even Harry Brooks come good for them. Pretty hyped in the English media throughout. I think his test will be when he comes on to face the quality spinners, because he too, I feel, plays the paces well, but once the ball starts turning either way, he's a bit caught off guard. So I think these guys on these pitches, if ball comes onto the bat, they'll score those big runs. But once it starts to hold a bit, predictably, say someone plays like a Trinidad or even at times in Antigua, if ball starts stopping and coming, I think these guys' techniques will be exposed.
Absolutely. Technique can be exposed. On the other end, West Indies, Roston Chase, I think he's very important in that phase. Maybe a Johnson Charles, maybe a Shiop in the opening tour, but the rest of it stays the same, I must tell you.
Yeah, even I feel Charles should play ahead of Hope. People are saying, but I think he came good and he has a pretty good record at St. Lucia. I think he has played for the St. Lucia Zooks earlier. I think that's a ground where he's also local, St. Lucian. So I think that will help him knowing the conditions to come good. And these guys now, they don't fire sometimes in many games. Suddenly, one game they'll come out and
Absolutely.
set the stage
Absolutely.
on fire. So you never take the West Indians lightly. Anyone, even someone like Andre Russell, though he has not delivered so much, suddenly can come on those back half 3 overs. He can get to 40
Absolutely.
odd, and he'll turn the game around. So all these guys are match winners on their own. So never take the West Indies lightly. Yeah, they may crumble to 60 all out also, but on their day
Correct.
they can get you 250.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what you term as West Indies, as the way Rohan explained. They can do anything on their given day. They can
Rhythm,
be
just
60
a
all out.
correction. I don't think Jason Holder should be there.
Jason Holder is not there. I think Moti will come in
Uh,
place of him, and he could be very costly out here. But we will see. Can he become the difference maker? We're done with the playing 11. Let's take a look into the predictions. Time now. Predictions time: England versus West Indies. Probably it's an early morning game in Indian Standard Time. Probably we might miss the first hour of the game. Cricket lovers will definitely be watching this. Ruan, give your predictions. Where are you heading towards? What's your percentage?
I feel somewhere the toss can be vital if the team likes to chase, can get a bit of an advantage there. Um, Hard says the West Indies have a bit of a chance here because of the conditions, and they have this some kind of a thing with England. They see them, they get charged up. So I think that's the reason I'll say 60-40 to the West Indies.
60-40 to the home side. Early morning game, ladies and gentlemen. England versus West Indies. Definitely be tuned into this game. He says 60-40 to the West Indies. But hold on. It's just not one game. We have a double header coming up. Now the smiles will be on place because it's Team India facing Afghanistan. Never take Afghanistan lightly, just like we said West Indies lightly in the T20 format. Afghanistan are even that lethal nowadays in the T20 format. We'll come to this game. How important is this one? Let's take a look into the group stages and their forms. Starting with Afghanistan, Rohan, they played 4 games. They won 3 of them and lost the last one. But you can sum it up, the domination, especially that game against New Zealand.
Generally, Afghanistan, we look at the spinners, but this tournament so far, the batting has come good. Ramanullah Gurbaz has done well. Ibrahim Zadran has done well. So once the batting clicks, Afghanistan, everything falls into place because
And how good
people
has been Fazal Lak Faruqi?
Brilliant. That's what I was coming to. They look at the spinners generally, and the Seema is the one who has picked up wickets. So five for there, four for here. I think Fazlak Faruqi. I think we are having this conversation the other day when before the New Zealand game. I had picked Faruqi ahead of Bolt because of this reason, because he can bowl at both the ends of the game, up front as well as at the death. Because he has the variations and he's pretty smart, kind of underrated too, because of the lack of pace maybe, but he can give you those wickets up front. Problem with them is the other kind of bowlers, your Omazais, and those guys have not yet stepped up, because a Noor, a Rashid, or even a Faruqi now, you know what you are gonna get. But once the others don't fire, I think the par plus score starts coming through, and that's where the pressure will come on their batters a lot more. If the pitches
Correct.
start a little bit spin, I think they'll be far ahead of any team. But if it's a flat pitch, I think again, as I said, the gap between these guys gets exposed, and they can kind of fall off very soon. Like we saw against the West Indies, they can crumble pretty quickly under pressure.
Absolutely, they can do that, but it's against the mighty Indians. Indian had a wonderful series and a wonderful 4 games. Unfortunately, the Canada game was abandoned, but that Pakistan game, I must tell you, 119 wasn't easy to defend, but they kept their nerves and they defended that game. We're done with group stages. India did well. Afghanistan did well as well. We won't speak much about it. Let's take a look into the pitch report and where does it take to. If India goes through, they play at this stadium in the semi-final too, if I'm not wrong, Rohan, at Barbados. Also the finals as well. But
No,
Barbados
no,
as a
no,
whole
no.
is a high score. Yeah,
Semi-final will be in Guyana.
semi-final in Guyana, final in Barbados.
Barbados, yeah.
Okay, so I think I'm dreaming already for Barbados for the final, to be honest. But yes, 29 games, 18 batting first, 9 batting second. Is toss important out here as well?
No, I feel because it's a day game, I think there won't be any dew or anything. Only thing can be if there is a bit of a hint of rain overnight or something, the moisture can be in the pitch. So bowling first can be a bit of an advantage for any team. Only that reason, or else day game, I don't really feel the toss should matter much. And ideally, I would love to bat first on such kind of pitches if you get a chance, because this ground has been used already in the group stages for few games. So you know the pitch is quite dry. Also, you can score 180 plus here. So I'll fancy our batters to come good and get a good hit out here against Afghan bowling attack, and then let's leave it to Mr. Jasprit Bumrah to defend it.
Even Touchwood, even Arshdeep Singh has been bowling brilliant in this tournament so far. So pitch report is done. Let's take a look into the fixtures for India and Afghanistan in the Super 8s. Starting with Afghanistan, they face India at Barbados. Then they go to Arnesville, Kingstown to face Australia, and ending with Bangladesh. So, what do you look into if you're an Afghanistan point of view? One game at a time. Do you still dream of a semi-final spot?
Yeah, they can always dream, but it shouldn't just remain a dream, right? They what they do for it, because I remember in the 50 over World Cup they almost pulled it off against Australia. I think that shouldn't haunt them. Once they get a grasp of the situation, put their foot down and finish it off. I think that's trying to be a bit ruthless is what they need to develop a bit more, that killer instinct, or else they have the all the characteristic to get into a semi. It's only that they shouldn't be the reason for their own defeats. That's what I feel sometimes is the reason for Afghanistan going down, or else they can definitely fancy beating Bangladesh if things go well. India may be a bit too far, but Australia we have seen they can trouble them, because it's at St. Vincent, kind of a bit more purchase can be there in the pitches there. If again, if they can get their batters to get a decent runs on board, they can definitely trouble Australia there.
Okay, so they can definitely trouble Australia. If they can get any one win out of these 2 games, they will fancy themselves against Bangladesh, I must tell you. But over on the other end, India start with Afghanistan, then they go to Sir Vivian Richards Stadium, face Bangladesh, and then a big one against Australia. But before I move on to that big one, I should say even Bangladesh and Afghanistan games are pretty big.
Definitely, yeah. All games, because you need to at least minimum win two to guarantee a spot to the semi. So I think India won't be concerned or overconfident or anything. I think this setup is pretty well calm in that sense. They thought out all the plans pretty well beforehand, as Rohit had mentioned in his press conference before the World Cup too, and during also. So I think we trust this team to come good against especially Bangladesh or Afghanistan. Australia team game can be a, I'll say, a good test out for our players in case they had won first both the games, knowing that semi spot is sealed. They can test themselves by giving themselves a challenge, maybe a few personal changes there, here and there, so that the key players can be rested ahead of the semis too. Because I think we spoke this just about in 4 5 days time.
Correct.
3 games is not so easy, though the T20
Correct.
format. You will want the players because all are in 3 different grounds again. So travel and all those things will take a toll on physical body. So I think they should play smart, avoid the niggles that can come for the changes that will happen, which we expect certain changes to happen. We know that for whatever reasons it will be there, but the niggle will be the huge reason for that.
Okay, so as you spoke about niggle, I heard that Shubman Gill has a finger niggle
Finger niggle.
recently. So that's the reason why he has been told probably released from the squad. We're done with the fixtures. Let's take a look into the top three players to watch out for. Very important to have Virat Kohli in this list because he needs runs, whether it's a number three, whether it's an opening. I think it's going to be opening once again. I think India will play the same squad. Jasprit Bumrah, no mentions, but most happy seeing Hardik Pandya the way he's delivering with bat and ball. So happy for him. And Ramanullah Gurbaz, Rashid Khan, and Noor Ahmed. I think Noor Ahmed has got Virat Kohli's number a few times. So what's your take on these six players?
All are match winners on their own. I think, as you said, Gurbaz is coming good, one of the top scorers in the tournament. I think that's heartening to see for them. Even Ibrahim Zadran, as I said, his opening partner has come good. Rashid, maybe still not that. What do you call that? Big performance has not yet come, though against smaller teams. But if he gets his radar right, I think he'll be lethal too. Noor, still too young. At times, if you attack him, he kind of loses it. But if you're defensive against him, he can just gobble you up with his smart Chinamans there. But for India, Virat Kohli coming good is key for them. I know all the media talk just because he has not scored runs in the league phases. We do know Kamat the man, Kamat the man. When the going gets tough, I think you will need a Virat Kohli there. And if it's a chase on, definitely Virat will step up. We know that. And against a team like maybe Australia or Bangladesh, we may just see him that little pumped up. I think that's what been missing, a little challenge or a needle there. I think that will get the best out of him. But one more guy against teams like Afghanistan or Bangladesh, one guy who can be lethal against these guys will be Shivam Dube. He loves to tong the spinners. If he gets it in his arc, I think he'll be a big destroyer for this bowling attack.
Okay, he can be one. You have mentioned that he plays spin really, really well, and that could be a thing. We're done with the top three players. Let's straight away move on to the predicted playing 11. I think Afghanistan have a very, very good squad. They should go with an unchanged 11. No Mujib because of injury. Noor and Rashid have been bowling well. Nabi is there. Unchanged 11 for me, Rohan.
Yeah, definitely. Because we saw, first like Faruqi has delivered well. It's high time. I think someone like Naveen comes good with without the hype around with him or Virat again and again. It's all sorted up now. So I think if he can bowl well, that will be a deciding for them at the fag end. Or else they're a decent balanced bowling attack. It's just that the support bowlers have to come good for them, because you same with the batting too. Guys like Najibullah Zadran, and we've seen these guys have the potential, but being consistent at this level is also key for them.
Absolutely, and that could be very, very important. It could be key. India, on the other hand, I think also unchanged without a doubt.
I think they're still considering that one change that we are expecting.
Yashasvi Jaiswal.
Someone like, sorry.
Yashasvi Jaiswal for Shivam Dube.
I'm looking more Kuldeep Yadav here, because these associate team or a smaller team like Afghan or Bangladesh generally don't pick the wrist spinners pretty well. And if someone like Kuldeep can come in, I think you'll get those 4 overs way of high quality spin, can turn the game around by picking 2 or 3 wickets. I think that will kind of kill the game there itself, and not be
I
over
do
reliant
have
on
him.
someone like Jasprit Bumrah alone. So end of the day, you get wickets, you finish off the game. So you can do that. You never know which player can get that niggle, Akshar or a Jadeja maybe. So that yeah, I think end of the day, India's template is to get those 8 batters so that the depth comes, and people at the top can kind of bat freely. if you play those four bowlers, that reduces the batting. That's one thing, but more responsibility at these guys. Or else you have to drop a Siraj or a Ashdeep there to get Kuldeep. So it depends, because what I feel is you can play Kuldeep in the first two games, kind of hide him for the Australia game, maybe play a Chahal instead to give him also a go. Keep Kuldeep under wraps for the semis and finals later on if required. But I feel wicket taking options are much more important than going a bit conservative or batting depth, especially in key games. So I think I wouldn't mind playing Kuldeep for any of these guys.
Okay, I think Kuldeep will play either of Ravindra Jadeja and Akshar. I would be happy, to be honest, if it's Ravindra Jadeja, unfortunately, because of the batting concerns. Let's take a look into the predictions time now. Here's the predictions time now. Match number 43, Afghanistan versus India. What's your take, Rohan?
I think India starts favorites. It can be a 75-25 definitely. Yeah, as I said, 75-25 because Afghanistan, I'm not sure if they have that ability to get over the line against India. Mentally, they have not yet beaten India ever in any format. So they'll be having that bit of gap in their head whether can deliver at the big stage. So I think that's the reason India start favorites. And since it's Barbados, slightly more flatter pitches, I think all those reasons I feel India are ahead. And I think Rohit and Co are prepared much better for this team.
Okay, so fingers crossed, double at a time, ladies and gentlemen. Sit back and enjoy two cracking games early in the morning, Indian Standard Time. Then in the evening, we will see what happens. Sit back and enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe to the Fifth Umpire. Press the bell icon as well. Till then, thank you so much and bye bye.